Hi there, this is Åsa with a new process video. Today I'm working with these two photos that were taken at the same time as we did that outing to Fläsian that I told you about in my last video. And these two photos, they are of lingonberry blossoms. And now there's this cultural thing again. Lingonberry jam is the traditional thing to have together with Swedish meatballs. So I guess you understand now that this is really important blossoms. These photos were taken in May, and then the plant has the whole summer to develop the berries, and you pick those during the autumn. And this has throughout my life been very important, because when I was a kid, my grandparents used to come over to mainland, where I lived with my parents, every autumn to pick lingonberries, because they were in plenty. they were very common where my parents lived. And the actual lingonberry, it's a red berry, and it's not something that you eat raw. They are very sour and but full of very important vitamins. They look like this, and then you boil them together with a tiny amount of water and lots of sugar to form this lingonberry jam. I borrowed those photos from internet. Anyway, and that jam is still rather like sour in flavor, but you can it goes very well with a lot of traditional Swedish dishes, especially meat dishes. So it's used a lot here. And my granddad, he liked to use it with all dishes. So if your kids are those that like to pour ketchup on everything, my granddad used to have lingonberry jam with everything. And even if he hadn't had lingonberry jam for his meal, he liked to mix it with milk in a glass and have it as dessert after the meal. So it was his thing. So this plant, it's an important part of Swedish culture, and it's also been a very important part of my like childhood and the environment I've grown up in. When we went on this walk, we found these blossoms in the forest just next to the beach where we were, and I think they are so pretty. They are like small porcelain or china flowers. They are very, very delicate and very, just beautiful. And they are white towards the pink in color, and really, really beautiful. For once, I'm working with a sketch for this layout, and I recently became a member of the Scrapbook, like a superhero group on Facebook, and they had a sketch challenge the week I joined them. So I decided to participate, and this is the layout that I'm making for this sketch. I don't normally work with sketches, but sometimes it can inspire me to do something different, and this was one of those occasions. They had this block to the right, and I used a paper from a paper pad that I got from my friend Anne-Marie in Holland, and I think it's mainly originally a paper pad for card makers, because it's 6 by 12, and you can basically just fold one of those papers and make a card of that. But I'm using it for my scrapbooking, and I thought that the colors went really well with these flowers, and I used one whole strip from that paper pad for that right block. Then I have my photo block a bit larger than that on the sketch, but that is nothing that I worry the least worry at all about, because I just use the sketch for my inspiration. And then there's this whole section with circles. So I used my 3 circle punches. I have 3 of them, and I used all of them. And I'm cutting circles out of pink paper that I had laying around, and also from those papers from that paper pad that I matted the photo on, and another piece, I think, from the same. No, it's just the one, that paper that I made my photo block of. And I'm outlining the circles just to make them stand out a bit more, and since I'm using pattern paper on top of other pattern papers, I thought that it helped to make the impression less busy. And then I'm just gluing 3 circles on top of each other, and it made a really fun impression. I think it looks like candy or something like that, and all pink. I don't scrapbook a lot of pink, but once in a while I think it's really fun. I have asked my cousin if I can make a baby album for her 1-year-old daughter, and an album with photos from her first year, and of course she said yes. What's that? It's not a question that you can say no to. And I did the same for her son, who is a couple of years older now, and I'm making a baby girl book for her, and it will be a 12 by 12 project, and so now I'm going to bring out a little bit more pink in my scrapbooking. I'm thinking about how I'm going to present this online, because I'm pretty sure she won't like that I display the photos of her daughter, my cousin, but I think that I perhaps could hide the photos, or just use photos or cardstock at the size of the photo when I'm filming the process, and then you can just look at the layout and not the photo. So that's what I'm thinking about. So hopefully I'll have her photos at my place soon, so that I can start with this gift project and have it ready for her for Christmas. That's my goal, at least. Back to the layout. Now I placed all the circles towards the left on the page. The original sketch, it had just 2 rows of circles, but I got empty space there, the strip of white that I didn't like. Empty space is not my thing. I'm I'm really fond of covering up the whole background with stuff. So I will try and do that this time as well, and I will continue with the dot theme and make smaller dots in pink, just to bridge those the block to the right with the flowers and the other side of the layout, so I will cover it up in circles completely. I got a question on my channel the other day. It was about how I store my photos, my digital photos. I told you how I store the paper copies that I have, but I guess it's even more important, how do I store and sort my digital photos. And I do that on a hard drive. It's one of those removable things that you can plug into any computer, and I have a folder called pictures, and then I have folders for every year that I've been taking photos with the digital camera, and then inside those folders I have the months. And from the beginning, when I downloaded photos from my camera, I got them in folders for each day. But that I don't get that anymore. So now I basically just get all the picture files from my camera, which is my phone, and then I place them in the right month. And I have realized that that's manageable for me. It's not too much going through or looking at really tiny photos of the whole month. It's okay for me. But if I have a month, like for example July or August, they normally are very photo heavy for me, then I decide to divide the month into days or perhaps events like Christmas or what's it like, or a certain trip, just to make it easier to find my photos when I go back and look for dates. Because when I go back, I wanted it to be fairly fast to find the certain events. But if I have just a random photo that I scrapbook, I I often need to spend a lot of time to find the right date and see the photo so that I can date the layout. But I'm okay with that. I cut a title for this page on my Silhouette Cameo, and it is Lingonberry Blossom, and it's Lingonblom in Swedish. And as you can see on this shoot here, it gets completely lost on the background, but I have a plan for that, so bear with me. When I had my birthday, it's a month from since then now, I bought for myself a set of really good artist quality watercolors. And this was the best thing that I could have done. It has been so much fun having real watercolors. About a year ago I bought a cheap set of, I think, 32 colors online, and it was the worst. You've heard me talking about those before. They totally, they are very bad, and that kind of prevented me from using them because I got so frustrated. So now I thought that I will invest in these real watercolors, artist quality, and then everything will be better. And I was so right with that. So now I have even started trying to make watercolor paintings. And if you follow me on Instagram, and I think you should do that because I post more layouts there than I do on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see more of me, you can go to my Instagram, and there you can see my watercolor paintings and some other layouts. For example, the birthday layouts that I made off camera. I glue down all those letters for the title, and I will go back and color them with watercolor paint. And perhaps that's not a very good way of doing it, but that was the method that I chose for this page. I think that I could have colored them before I glued them down, but I was a bit afraid of them warping or getting bubbly, and then I would not be able to stick them to my page and get them to be flat again. So this is the method that I did. Now I'm just basically coloring them and just having fun with the colors, and I try to make them like not the same flat color, so I'm trying to make them darker at some edges of the letters, and then just fill in with water and move the paint towards the rest of the letter. Just playing and having a really nice time with my wonderful colors. I will be using these a lot more, trying to make shadows on pages and also coloring the letters and parts of the layouts. So you'll be seeing more of these. I bought Russian watercolors. This brand, I don't know what it's called in Russian, but translated it says White Knights, and I bought a whole set. I think it was 24 colors in a box, and the box had room for more colors, so then I could buy single colors in colors that I like. So I did that, and I did a lot of thinking before I actually bought the whole set, and that was good because I could think about the colors that I thought I'd be using in my scrapbooking, and I could also think about colors that I wanted to use when playing with the more the artist side and making paintings. So and now I have a selection that is really good, and I will be using this a lot more. Really, really fun. So here's the page again, and I'll just add the sketch once more. And here you can see that I have remained rather close to the actual sketch. And you on the photo, on the film here, you also see those smaller pink circles that I've added to fill in the white space that I got beside the actual row of larger circles. I'm cutting a piece of that same pale pink cardstock, and I'm writing my journaling there. And it's just something philosophical about watching tiny things when you're in this stressed out world that we live in. So nothing about the actual blossoms, but about the feeling of looking at something so pretty and so tiny in the nature. I used the same pink cardstock to get a little like scalloped border on the large flower piece there. So that pink goes through the whole layout. Here's the finished page, and I'm very happy about this one. And it's fun to sometimes make layouts out of photos that are not people. And I think close-up photos of flowers are really fun to take, so I want to scrapbook them as well, of course. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon again. Take care. This is Åsa. Bye!